Some idea, those little guys, they double their body weight about every 6 weeks, and they're going to do that right into the fall. So that tiny little fish that wasn't even a gram in size, by the time the fall rolls around, those little guys are probably going to be 5 or 6 grams, which is quite amazing. So I don't know how much little dude weighs, but let's say you're about 25, 30 pounds, so you'd be 100 pounds by Christmas. How about that? I'm going to need like 4 or 5 refrigerators to handle that one, right? Yeah. So, one really important part of our Pacific salmon is that they have a short life cycle. And as we mentioned with these guys, 3 years. Our chummers are 4. Our pink salmon, 2 years. Chinook salmon, we do get a few Chinook salmon into Kanaka Creek, but it's not officially a Chinook stream. But sometimes those guys will live 5, 6, 7 years. For the most part, 3 or 4. That come back into the lower Fraser. So when our salmon come back and spawn in our streams and rivers, something incredible happens when they die. Do we know what that is? Well, it gets a little stinky, right? Anybody's been around that salmon stream in the fall, woo! If you live close by and you're downwind, sometimes that bedroom window gets closed at night because it's a little stinky. But that is a good smell. That is the beginning and the end of the most amazing life cycle on planet Earth. And I'll tell you why. Because our salmon feed over 140 species directly to help those species survive every single year of their life. Imagine that. One species does that. Pacific salmon. But even better than that, when these salmon come back home and die, their carcasses remain in the creek and start breaking down. Every single bit of that salmon carcass is going to be eaten by something. Even some things that are as tiny little invertebrates laying in the creek from the rocks that you can't even see with the naked eye. You probably need a magnifying glass or a microscope to see some of them. All of those invertebrates, the caddisflies, the stoneflies, the mayflies, and even the little shrimp and other critters, they're all benefiting from that one salmon carcass. Imagine if we have hundreds. Imagine if we have thousands. So part of that process is what we call a nutrient transfer. So that nutrient transfer is the Pacific Ocean and our watersheds. All the nutrients in the salmon's body, that's all from the Pacific Ocean. And they leave that all behind here in our watersheds. No other species does what our Pacific salmon do as far as a nutrient transfer, okay? And the life that's generated from those fish is remarkable. So, if we have a watershed that has salmon in it, like Kanaka Creek, the abundance and diversity of life will be far greater than one without the salmon. And we all know a few species that like salmon. We eat the salmon, don't we? Who likes to eat the salmon? Like the eagles, right? Those guys like the salmon. Bears. And who knows about our orcas out in the ocean, the big orcas? And the big black and white guys. So that's the largest predator in our ocean, and the largest predator that feeds on our fish. But we also have all the other ones. So, some of those other ones drag their carcasses of the salmon out of the creek or drop one when they're flying, and that's going to end up in the forest somewhere. Every single thing that's living in the forest floor in that area is going to benefit from that salmon carcass. And that's something really special. All the plants, the trees, the insects, everybody's going to benefit. And even better than that, a lot of those little invertebrates and critters that the salmon in the fall coming back and dying are going to help create over the winter time, guess who's going to eat those little critters in the fall? All the little baby salmon. All those little salmon fry emerging in the springtime, they need that food. Very, very, very important food source for them. So these guys are not happy right now because they haven't had any yet, so we're going to give them a little bit of food. Let's go down here a little bit. that salmon talk that we just had is the main reason we call our salmon a keystone species, because they support so much life. So a good way to relate to them is they're kind of like the hub of the wheel, right? The hub of the wheel in the middle is what all the spokes are attached to. All those spokes are all those species that benefit from our salmon. If the hub of our wheel isn't there, what happens to our wheel? Our wheel collapses, doesn't it? It's just like our ecosystem. Everybody's reliant on those salmon. So when our salmon don't come home, mass starvation on a scale that we can't even imagine. Because all we have to do is go to the grocery store and the refrigerator and we have something to eat. But all those other species that rely on our salmon, not so much. So another reason to love our salmon. So one more thing that's unique about our coho is when we raise our coho at the hatchery, and all salmon hatcheries, when they get to be about 4 months of age after swimming, they're getting a little bit bigger, probably 2.5 times the size of your little chum salmon. We do something we call fin clipping. We remove the adipose fin from the salmon. That's a little appendage between the dorsal and the tail. And in doing so, we're marking that fish, we call it marking, as a hatchery. And it's super important for a couple reasons. One, in the fall, when we're collecting our brood stock, the adult salmon that we bring back here to spawn, we avoid those hatchery fish as much as possible. We don't want to inbreed hatchery behavior genetic-wise and create a funnel effect. We want genetic diversity to be as strong as possible and not inbreed our hatchery fish. So we try to target unmarked fish or potentially wild spawn fish as much as possible. But the other side of it is, if you're out fishing for a coho in the fall to bring one home to eat, the only ones that you can keep have to be a hatchery fish. So if the adipose fin is still there, that salmon has to be released back to the stream or the ocean. If the adipose fin is missing, depending on the regulations of that stream or river that you're fishing, you can bring a fish home. So in Kanaka in the month of November, that's one fish a day through the whole month of November that you can take home. And they're tasty. I will say those Kanaka coho, I've had a few, in fact last year. And I highly recommend that. Because if you like salmon, when we're taking a 3-year-old fish like that, they've only had a couple years out in the ocean or a year out in the ocean to bioaccumulate toxins and other things that exist in our waters. We always hear, oh, you shouldn't eat too much tuna, you should only have tuna maybe twice a month because of the mercury, right? But there's lots of other goodies too. And obviously from us. But that makes Pacific salmon, mainly 2-year-old pink salmon, 3-year-old coho, some of the cleanest protein that we can actually eat from our ocean. Okay? So that's something to keep in mind as well. When you have a 5 or 6-year-old salmon, obviously they're big and it's quite a spectacular thing to see. But for me, I wouldn't want to eat one of those guys. I would rather put that big fish back in the water to spawn again and maybe try and catch another one. So something I always want to share is the importance of the work that goes on by our volunteers. So at this hatchery, I'm the only staff in the entire province in this program, because this program is 100% run on the backs of volunteers, amazing members of our communities. These are local citizens from all walks of life that get passionate about their local stream and want to get involved and make a difference, and namely to help the salmon. And in doing so, quite often we get a little bit of slime under our nails in the fall and we're hooked for life. And the passion kicks in and we can't walk away. So a lot of the volunteers you see here today, these people have dedicated 10, 20, 30 years of their lives to this program as volunteers. So these are incredible people. And I'm getting emotional. So just so you guys know, if you're walking by one of them, give them a quick thank you, because it's a lot of work. 2,000 hours of volunteer help go into this facility every year, plus the 2,000 hours that I put in. So that's a lot of work. And what you see behind me took a year and a half. These fish. Okay? So when May comes and our coho smolts are heading out, that year and a half of work is coming to an end, and we're starting the next year and a half. Okay? So, and those little babies are right in the back troughs there. If you had an opportunity to maybe see some of the coho, they look a little bit different than the chum salmon you released today. So, I'm going to stop talking, throw a little bit more food on these guys, and give you guys an opportunity, if you haven't already, to maybe get a hot dog from the Lions or check out one of the many displays. And most importantly, thank you so much for joining us for a special day, and thank you for bringing the sunshine. Last year we had sideways rain. It wasn't quite as fun as today.